Accordions and tabs are covered in Chapter 5. These are helpful interface components that web designers and interface designers use to maximize the amount of screen space available to the users. Accordions and tabs are being used a lot on mobile devices where the screen size is very, very small, and it becomes sort of a clever way again to hide content until a user decides that they're ready to see it. So let's just take a brief look at how accordions and tabs are used to conserve the visual screen space of a user's device. Okay, so here is just a bare bones accordion interface, just something that I found on the web. All of these are going to be examples that you could find easily just by going to Google and searching for accordions or searching for tabs. This particular one, if we zoom in, is just simply an empty shell that has 4 sections that can be selected by the user. So to come out of this, I can select section 2, section 3, and section 4, and every time I select one of these horizontal nav bars with a section heading on it, that section opens up to reveal the content that's in that section. So this conserves space simply by allowing the user to only look at content related to one of the 4 sections at a time. When they're ready to move on, they can collapse the section they were previously in and open up the next one all the way down to the bottom of the page. And the entire interface consumes the same amount of visual space on the screen no matter which page is currently selected. And I guess that could certainly change if one section had more content than another. And accordions don't have to be horizontal. They can be like this one, which is a vertical interface that opens from top to bottom. Okay, so let's look at some other examples. Here's a similar thing, just with a little bit more color, a little bit more visual splash. And again, here we can click on the various sections to navigate from the top to the bottom. And if I happen to click on a section like this one where the content goes below the viewable area of this section, then I have a scroll bar over here that appears, and I can scroll up and down to allow me to work within that space without expanding the interface component beyond the size that the designer built it. So all of this was created using HTML and JavaScript. So if we come down here, this is covered later on in the book, at least HTML is, and you can see basic HTML tabs defining the structure of this interface component, and then down here there's some JavaScript coding that is working in the background to provide the animation necessary for the accordion to open and close on command. So a couple more examples. This is from a company that actually sells accordion plugins and other types of interface component plugins that really make the whole process of creating these attractive accordions and tabs and so forth easy for people who don't have all the coding background. So you can go to a company like this one and simply purchase the HTML, the JavaScript code, and the plugins that you need to put this into a product that you might be working on. So this one's rather interesting. This is an accordion that allows me to look at a sequence of images, and the images slide out as I hover my mouse over each of the vertical sections. I don't even have to click. This particular accordion is simply designed to respond by the hovering of my mouse. So the second I move to the right or to the left, the images unfold before me. And there's a couple of different variations for this. If I go down to the bottom here, there's example 2. And just a slightly different version. Some separation between the vertical columns, same images and so forth. And then the third example is a vertical accordion that again expands and collapses vertically from top to bottom on the screen. Here's another example, a web designer who has put his professional portfolio on this web page and used accordions here to identify the different subsections. So we have projects, services, clients, and an About Me section. And as I click on each of those, the section expands, services, clients, and then About Me. Alright, tabs are a little bit different. And tabs are going to usually be static across the top of the navigational interface. In this particular case, as I move from tab to tab across the top, I get a rollover effect. So the active tab, the one that currently has focus, changes from gray to white, reminding me as I move my mouse along and simply hover over the tabs that if I click on it, something's going to happen. So if I hover over Features and click, then the content within the Features tab is revealed to me in the interface below. And the one really nice thing about tabs and accordion interfaces is that it allows the information that's above the main navigational interface to remain constant. So as I move from tab to tab, the company logo and this main information area up here at the top part of the screen remains static. It doesn't move as I change from page to page. And this is one of the advantages of using tabs or using accordions. It allows you to present a lot of information to the user without them getting lost and getting sort of buried deep into your site by having to go from a home page into secondary pages, third level pages, fourth level pages, etc. At any particular point in time, I can jump right back to home because this tab interface gives me all of the options available to me at this site. It makes it very easy for me to move around without losing my focus in terms of what website I'm visiting and where I happen to be in terms of the visual hierarchy. Alright, one final example on tabs. Here's one dealing with libraries. It's really just a search engine, so if I zoom in here you can see my categories here. I can search everything. I can search books, DVDs, CDs, articles, etc. And I simply change the search topic by selecting one of the tabs and then coming down into the field and entering in my search. So tabs can be used any number of different ways. In this particular case, it's used to serve as an interface for a search engine, but it could also be used, as it was in the previous example, to move from content region to content region on a web page.